In a world that constantly demands noise, reactions, and instant responses, there is a hidden power that many overlook: silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not absence. Silence is strength, clarity, and control. Today, let's explore why staying silent can lead you to everything you desire, naturally and effortlessly. When you choose silence, something powerful begins to happen within your mind. The constant noise, opinions, distractions, and endless internal chatter starts to fade, creating space for clear thinking. Most people move through life reacting instantly, speaking without reflection, and making decisions in emotional haste. In that state, the mind becomes cluttered and confusion takes over. Silence interrupts that pattern. It slows everything down just enough for you to actually see what's going on rather than just reacting to it. In quiet moments, your thoughts begin to organize themselves. You start to notice what truly matters and what doesn't. Problems that once felt overwhelming begin to look smaller, more manageable, and sometimes even unnecessary. This is because silence allows you to observe situations from a distance without emotional pressure clouding your judgment. Instead of being pulled in different directions by external voices, you begin to hear your own inner voice more clearly. And that voice is often wiser than you realize. Clarity doesn't come from forcing answers. It comes from allowing them to surface naturally. When you stop trying to control every outcome and stop filling every moment with noise, your mind begins to process things more effectively. You connect ideas, reflect on past experiences, and recognize patterns that were previously hidden. Silence gives you the ability to think deeply rather than react quickly, and that difference changes the quality of your decisions. It also sharpens your awareness. You start paying attention to details: how people behave, how situations unfold, and how your own emotions rise and fall. This awareness becomes a powerful guide. Instead of second-guessing yourself or seeking constant validation from others, you begin to trust your own understanding. You respond with intention rather than impulse. Over time, this habit of embracing silence transforms the way you approach challenges. What once felt chaotic becomes structured, and what once felt uncertain becomes clearer. The mind, when given space, naturally moves toward order, insight, and direction, revealing answers that were always there but hidden beneath the noise. Every time you engage in unnecessary conversations, arguments, or explanations, you are giving away a part of your energy. Most people don't realize how much they exhaust themselves trying to respond to everything and everyone. They feel the need to defend their choices, prove their worth, or correct others, even when it doesn't truly matter. This constant engagement creates mental fatigue and emotional drain, leaving little energy for what actually contributes to growth and progress. Choosing silence changes that dynamic completely. Instead of reacting to every situation, you begin to conserve your energy. You become more selective about where your attention goes and who deserves your response. This doesn't mean you ignore everything. It means you develop the awareness to recognize what is worth engaging in and what is simply noise. Not every opinion requires a reply, and not every situation deserves your involvement. When you stop feeding unnecessary interactions, you create space within yourself. That space allows you to focus on your priorities, your goals, and your well-being. Your energy is no longer scattered across distractions. It becomes directed and purposeful. This shift makes a significant difference in how productive and emotionally balanced you feel throughout the day. Silence also helps you avoid emotional traps. Many situations are designed, intentionally or unintentionally, to provoke a reaction. When you respond impulsively, you often get pulled deeper into negativity, conflict, or stress. By staying silent, you break that cycle. You deny those situations the power to control your mood or drain your strength. Instead of being consumed by them, you rise above them. As you practice this, you'll notice a sense of calm replacing the constant tension. Your mind feels lighter because it's not overloaded with unnecessary concerns. You become more present, more focused, and more in control of yourself. Protecting your energy through silence isn't about withdrawal. It's about discipline and self-respect. It's about understanding that your energy is limited and valuable, and using it wisely is what ultimately leads to strength, clarity, and steady progress. There is a quiet kind of strength that most people never develop, simply because they are too used to reacting. When emotions rise, anger, frustration, excitement, the natural impulse is to express them immediately. But holding that impulse, choosing not to react right away, is where real strength begins to form. Silence becomes a training ground for self-control, and self-control is one of the most powerful qualities a person can possess. In moments of pressure, staying silent forces you to face your emotions instead of releasing them carelessly. You begin to understand what you're feeling rather than being controlled by it. This awareness creates a gap between stimulus and response, and in that gap lies your power. Instead of being driven by impulse, you start making conscious decisions about how to respond or whether to respond at all. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental discipline. You become less reactive to criticism, less affected by negativity, and less dependent on external validation. Situations that once triggered immediate responses no longer have the same effect on you. You learn to remain steady even when things around you are chaotic. This stability is what separates those who are easily shaken from those who remain grounded under pressure. Silence also builds resilience. When you don't react to every challenge or confrontation, you develop the ability to endure discomfort without losing control. You stop needing to prove yourself in every situation, and that reduces unnecessary stress. Instead of engaging in battles that drain you, you conserve your strength for moments that truly matter. As this inner strength grows, it becomes visible in your presence. People may not always understand it, but they can sense it. You carry yourself with calm confidence, not because you suppress emotions, but because you've learned to manage them. This kind of strength doesn't rely on loud words or constant expression. It comes from control, patience, and the ability to remain composed when it would be easier to react. Many people feel the need to constantly talk about their plans, their goals, and what they're going to achieve. It gives a temporary sense of progress, but in reality, it often replaces action with words. The more you speak about what you intend to do, the less pressure you feel to actually do it. Silence shifts that dynamic. When you stop announcing your moves, you naturally direct your energy toward execution instead of explanation. Working in silence allows you to focus without distraction. You're not seeking approval, validation, or attention. You're simply doing the work. This creates a deeper level of concentration and consistency. Without the noise of outside opinions, you move at your own pace, guided by your own standards. Progress becomes more genuine because it's not influenced by the need to impress others. As you continue putting in effort quietly, results begin to appear. These results carry far more weight than words ever could. People notice outcomes, growth, improvement, success, without needing to hear constant updates. Your work starts to speak on your behalf, and it speaks with credibility. There's no need to convince anyone when the evidence is visible. Silence also protects your plans. Not everyone will understand your vision, and not everyone will support it. Sharing too much too early can invite doubt, criticism, or unnecessary pressure. By keeping your goals to yourself, you give them space to develop without interference. You allow your ideas to grow stronger before exposing them to the outside world. Over time, this approach builds a reputation that doesn't rely on talk. You become known for what you do, not what you say. There's a quiet confidence in knowing that your actions are aligned with your intentions. Instead of chasing attention, you attract it naturally through consistent effort and real results, creating an impact that words alone could never achieve. Not every situation deserves your voice, and not every opinion deserves your attention. Many people fall into the habit of responding to everything, every comment, every criticism, every misunderstanding. In doing so, they unintentionally lower their own value because constant reactions make them appear easily influenced and emotionally driven. Silence, on the other hand, creates a sense of control and composure that naturally draws respect from others. When you choose not to respond unnecessarily, people begin to see that you are not easily pulled into distractions. You don't feel the need to defend yourself at every turn or prove your point in every conversation. This restraint signals confidence. It shows that you are secure enough in who you are that you don't rely on constant validation or approval. That kind of presence stands out, especially in a world where most people are quick to react. Silence also prevents you from saying things you might later regret. In moments of anger or frustration, words can easily become careless and damaging. By holding back, you give yourself time to think, to process, and to respond with intention rather than emotion. This not only protects your relationships, but also strengthens the way others perceive you. People tend to respect those who remain calm and measured, even in difficult situations. Over time, your silence begins to carry meaning. When you do choose to speak, people are more likely to listen because they know you don't speak without purpose. Your words gain weight and your voice becomes more impactful simply because it is used with intention rather than impulse. This approach creates a quiet authority. You don't demand respect and you don't chase it. It develops naturally through your behavior. By not reacting to everything, by not engaging in unnecessary conflict, and by maintaining your composure, you build a presence that others recognize and value without you having to say much at all. There is a natural rhythm to life that often gets disrupted when you try to force outcomes. The more you push, control, and overthink every situation, the more resistance you create. Silence helps you step out of that cycle. It allows you to pause, observe, and move in alignment with how things are unfolding rather than constantly trying to bend everything to your will. When you embrace silence, patience becomes easier. Instead of rushing decisions or chasing immediate results, you give situations the time they need to develop. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you act with awareness, choosing the right moments instead of reacting at every opportunity. In that state, your actions become more effective because they are guided by understanding rather than urgency. Silence also deepens your trust in the process of life. You begin to realize that not everything needs to be figured out instantly. Some answers take time, and some opportunities appear when you least expect them. By not filling every moment with noise or anxiety, you create space for these opportunities to enter. You become more receptive, more aware of subtle changes, and more open to possibilities that you might have otherwise overlooked. As you stop forcing outcomes, you also reduce unnecessary stress. The constant need to control everything often leads to frustration when things don't go as planned. Silence helps you detach from that pressure. You learn to focus on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, and your effort, while allowing the rest to unfold naturally. This alignment with life's flow creates a sense of ease. Things begin to fall into place not because you chase them aggressively, but because you positioned yourself correctly, calm, focused, and patient. Opportunities, connections, and solutions start to appear in a way that feels effortless, simply because you are no longer working against the natural course of events. Silence is not about doing nothing. It's about doing less of what doesn't matter and focusing on what truly does. So the next time you feel the urge to react, to argue, or to prove yourself, pause, stay silent, trust the process, because when you master silence, everything you're meant to have